everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Beta Makam. All right, so we come to you, Shem Malachi Bey, and I, Abdullah Mosi Bey, will be presenting to this evening uh, our Moorish treaties and repossessing our Moorish estates, forcing our Moorish treaties and repossessing our Moorish estates. Now, before I want to read an excerpt from The Law of Nations. This is a book that I've been promoting for the past 2 months. I've suggested many people to purchase this book. The Law of Nations is also known as public international law. There have two branches of international law. You have public international law, also known as the Law of Nations, and private international law, also known as the conflict of laws. We'll be doing a series of lessons on international law. So I'm going to read from the Law of Nations by Tell. This is chapter 3, book 1, which Nations in Themselves, this title is book 1. This book is broken down to 4 books. This is book 1, Nations in Themselves, chapter 3, of the Constitution of a state and the duties and rights of the nation in this respect. We were unable to avoid in the first chapter anticipating something of the subject of this. We have seen already that every political society must necessarily establish a public authority to regulate their common affairs, to prescribe to each individual the conduct he ought to observe with a view to the public welfare, and to possess the means of procuring obedience. This authority essentially belongs to the body of the society, but it may be exercised in a variety of ways. And every society has a right to choose the mode which suits its best. All right, every society has a right to choose the mode which suits it the best. Now, you have a principle known as political legitimacy, the exercise of the free will of the people. So when you hear nationalized Moors make a self-proclaimed statement that I am the Sultan of Morocco, you would ask, I know I fell asleep last night. I know I fell asleep last night, but I woke up this morning. I didn't think I was asleep for 40 years. When was there a plebiscite, the exercise of political legitimacy, the free will of the people, where millions of Moors, millions of conscious and nationalized Moors, through a plebiscite and political legitimacy, voted in a sultan? So when a nationalized Moor claims to be the Sultan of Morocco or the Emperor of Morocco, a self-proclaimed, they're claiming to have in his hand, because the emperor will be a his, empress, she, because, and I've seen sisters claim to be empress. They claim to have in his or her hands the sovereignty of the Moors, and that the Moors are under their authority. But when did that happen, though? When was there a plebiscite? When was the exercise of free will through the principle of political legitimacy? We must rise up in maturity to understand principles of government. So statements like that do not get by us. We need to check that. We need to check those type of statements so that we can show the world that we have matured to the principles of government, to the principles of the law of the nation, which is public international law. The sovereignty belongs to the people. The same sovereignty the same Moorish sovereignty that ruled Europe or Phoenicia, the same Moorish sovereignty that rules Sindhu, what they call today India, the same Moorish sovereignty that governed North Africa, modern day North Africa, West Africa, the same Moorish sovereignty that reigned in North America, Central America, South America, Turtle Island, Atlantis, is the same Moorish sovereignty that Noble Ali was referring to. It's the same Moorish sovereignty that we, the Moors, are positioning and seeking to exercise once again. It's that same Moorish sovereignty. The question, what is the Moorish nation? Is the Moorish nation, Abdullah, a organization, an organization of a group of blacks, Negro coloreds? What is the Moorish nation actually a nation in the same realm as China, France, England, Germany? Absolutely. How do you know that, Abdullah? Great question. In examining the treaties between Morocco and the various European powers, you would see that the sovereignty, that the Moorish nation is at the same level. What the problem is, before I answer that, go further. Another question, is the Moorish nation recognized? Yes, it is. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. In 1952, in the International Court of Justice, case between France and the United States that dealt with who had the most favorable nation clause, the United States lost the case. There were three types of cases that was used, three types of treaties that were used to adjudicate that case. The first type is the treaties between Morocco and 10 European powers: Belgium, France, England, Netherlands, Sweden, and 4 or 5 others. The second type of treaties is the Act of Algiers, 1906, and the Act to Protect Morocco, 1807. Like Act of Algiers, 1907, and the Act to Protect Morocco, 1880. The third type of treaty is the French Protectorate. So that's 1952. They went back to the treaties between Morocco and those European powers between 1661, 1891. So the Moorish nation is recognized. The problem is that there must be a recognized body of Moors who rise up to diplomacy where they know Abdullah Mosi Bey by name. As an example, we reached the level of diplomacy. So the problem is us not recognizing ourselves. What do you mean, Abdullah? I got a piece of paper. I'm nationalized. I recognize myself. What do you mean? All right, have you been nationalized? Let's analyze that. What is nationalization for the Moors? What is nationalization for the Moors? Because it doesn't make you a Moor. There's no piece of paper, no process on this planet that makes you a Moor. So what is nationalization for the Moors? Let me tell you. When you're talking about nationalization for the Moors, you're talking about political allegiance to a body of civics. Why do you nationalize? Just to walk around to have a piece of paper? Why do you nationalize? You nationalize for what? Protection. It's the duty of the body, of the political body politic, to set up a political structure to defend her nationals. One of the basic principles in the laws of nations, public international law, is with the necessity of security. If a nation or body of civics cannot provide or follow line in the necessity of security, they have failed as a nation. So having piece of paper means nothing if you don't set up a body of civics and a political structure to meet one of the greatest and most important principles in the laws of nations, deals with necessity of security. What does that mean? We need our national unity. We need our national unity. For 27 years, I've observed individualism. Individualism. I know our toe hurts. I know our toe hurts. The occupying power, United States occupying power, are stepping on our toes, and our toe hurts. But we're trying to address the occupying power as individuals. We're trying to address the occupying power as individual Moorish body politics. There is a copy center. I'll just say copy center. When you walk in, there's a book that has a template. Over 50 Moorish nationality cards. That means body civics have taken their nationality card template to this copy center. And anybody can walk off the street and go to the book and point out. We're going to put an end to that. Go to the book and say, I want this one. No, I want this one. No, that looks good. No, I want this one. No, I think I want this one. That's not government. That's not government. We're a joke. A laughing stock. A field house of mockery. Infants. Minor thinking. We're boys and girls. We have not reached the level of maturity of government. We're on social media. You don't wear fez or whatever, and they petty stuff. This man is orchestrating to annihilate us, to kill us. And we talk about some petty stuff. We're boys and girls. We're laughing stock. We're mockery. I'm getting on us. I'm getting on us. We're buffoons. We're silly. We're laughing stock as a people. I'm talking about nationalizing conscious Moors. Petty arguments on social media. Talk to me. 27 years I've seen this. The fundamental regulations. You say, oh man, Abdullah's getting on us. Doing it out of love. We got to address that. What does Shem Malachi Bay always say? We got to clean up our house. This is cleaning up time. We got to clean up our house and rise to the level of maturity. Continuing, chapter 3, once again, the title of the Constitution of a State and the duties and the duties and the duties and rights of the nation in this respect. The fundamental regulation that determines the manner in which the public authority is to be exercised is what forms the constitution of the state. It is seen in this is seen the form in which the nation acts in the quality of a body politic. How and by whom the people are to be governed. And what are the rights and duties of the governors? This constitution is in fact nothing more than the establishment of the order in which a nation proposes to labor in common for obtaining those advantages with a view to which the political society was established. The perfection of a state and its aptitude to obtain the ends of society must then depend on its constitution. Consequently, the most important concern of a nation that forms a political society and its first and most essential duty towards itself. And I would say herself, I'm reading itself here, but herself is proper. Herself is the proper word to use. It is to choose the best constitution possible and that most suitable to her, it reads its, but I'm going to use her, to her circumstances. When her, it says it, but we're not going to read it. When her makes this choice, her lays the foundation of her own preservation, safety, perfection, and happiness. Her cannot take too much care in placing, or she cannot take too much care in placing these on a solid basis. The laws or regulations established by public authority is to observe in society. All these are to relate to the welfare of the state and of the citizens. The laws made directly with a view of the public welfare, the laws made directly with the view of the public welfare are political laws. In this case, those that concern the body herself and the being of the society, the form of government, the manner in which the public authority is to be exercised. Those, in a word, which together form the constitution of the state are the fundamental laws. All right, in there, once again, this book is titled The Laws of Nation. All right, let me give the complete title. The Laws of Nations, the Law of Nations, or Principles of the Law of Nature, applied to the conduct and affairs of nations and sovereigns, with 3 early essays on the original and nature of natural law and luxury by Emir D. Vattel, Emerdde Vattel, Vattel. All right. I thank you for giving me your ear. I know I love y'all. I've been at this for a while. We must rise. We must rise. We must rise. All right? Shem Malachi Bay. And then we'll go, I'm going to go direct to this. So we have up here on the board. Shem, just come up and then introduce this here.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate that. As always, it's good to come behind you. You open up the floor and also open up the door, the windows, everything. And I really appreciate you doing what you're talking about, which is very important on this topic, which I have here. Topic, using the Moorish treaties to repossess our Moorish estates. Professor Abdul went into the deep statements and facts and merit and principles, solid principles that can be refuted. One of the things we have to do when we're coming back to claim the Moorish estates through treaties, we must understand the principle of Professor Abdul say, that our ancestors, in order to enter even into a treaty, had to be a sovereign, had to be self-independent, as an independent nations. She had to be recognized and operable, and also have dominion in different parts of the earth. What I mean is that this is impossible for someone to come off a boat or even a plane onto your land as an immigrant. Once they come off that boat or that ship, and if it's not by treaty and it's about pass, let them go past based on permission of a foreign crown or a foreign emperor or king, that person is a subject in the dominion of that ruling government. I want y'all to hear this. See, when you hear the word British Dominion, and you hear that's America, for the record, I want everybody to know this. That's not Atlantis, it's not Africa, that's not Turtle Island, that's not Morocco. That's not even Phoenician. When you hear the term North America, Central America, and South America, that is not dealing with Moors. Please hear me out. Because if you talk that way, you just disnationalize yourself through language. Because the word did not exist anciently when our people were established on the land, when our people allowed them to come off a boat here in Morocco, Atlantis, and Turtle Island. What happened? They became what? Subjects of our foremothers and forefathers. The only way that they was not subjects is when the two crowns entered into an agreement, or two princes into agreement, a treaty, and allowed the other foreigners to operate a municipal government in their geographical territory or land. And when that happens, they allow them to be judged by their council as the judges. Under the laws of their nationality. Hear me again. If there's no treaty formed, and you in the geographical land and territory of a country or empire, you are considered a subject of that crown dominion. So this is why anciently while France, Spain, Great Britain, Dutch, Irish, Italians, Greece entered into treaties with the Moors. Because in the being in the Moorish geographical territorial land, if they didn't have a treaty, they were there as an alien hostile, as a resident. You know what that means? They're subject of that government. I want you to hear it. If you get off a boat and that government does not have a treaty with this government here, and that government lets you in based on asylum and amnesty, you become a subject to that government. I want you to hear that. Now, I'm leading this path because I'm going to get there. I'm going to get where we're on that board at. Now, somebody said, what are you talking about? No, what I'm talking about is a fact. Now, the same way, Moors are not foreign to Phoenician. Please, I want the Moors to hear this. We are not foreign to nowhere on the planet Earth, but through what? Language. Like Professor Abdul said, you can't take our blood out. We can't waive no sovereignty. We can waive the inheritance that come behind the blood pedigree. That's how we lose. When we waive the benefits that come behind the blood pedigree as a Moor. You can't take the blood out. You can't steal that. So you can't even waive that. So we know what they're doing now. They're stealing the inheritance. They're stealing the estates. By allowing us not to make a claim on our blood pedigree, a Moor. So how did this happen? Moors all over the whole planet. Cold climates, yes. Warm climates, different seasons. Some places they cold all year round. Some places got different seasons, cold, all this and that. Moors was and still is Alpha and Omega from the beginning to the end, going to be all over the earth. I'm sorry. There's nowhere you can find that we don't have no architect up in hot, was cold at, down up in the Antarctic, Australia, anywhere in the earth, in the four corners of the earth. The Moors been there, the architect, first in law, first in time. Alpha and Omega. You can't do nothing about that. Nobody can change that. How we get like this? I can tell you how we got like this among ourselves. You can say a house divided and a kingdom divided can't stand. The moment a kingdom split in rulership, a lot of times that comes through the princes of the house. Because a kingdom like Egypt controlled, let's say, I'm being by half of the earth. I'm the whole continent, what you call right now, they call Africa going from up top, and part of South America was controlled by Egypt. So Egypt had one of the biggest kingdoms. According to the scriptures, I don't think it was ever a kingdom of that magnitude like Egypt. Everybody went to Egypt. The whole world went to Egypt one time to live on the earth. They would survive because Egypt the only one that had wheat, grain, and livestock. There was a famine in the whole earth, and Egypt was the only place in the whole earth that every nation of people or language, nationality had to come to live. So we understand that the land of gods, we call over here, our people over here had to come over to Charadine. The Phoenicians had to go down into that land and get something to eat and bring it back. So what I'm saying is that, like Professor Abdul said, we had to go back to the basic principle beginning. We was not brought here off a boat. I'm talking about possessing Moors estates, getting them back, repossessing them. That's all I'm concerned about now through the treaties. Like Professor Abdul said, we are completely looking like a complete idiot and, let me say it right, out of control, don't know where we're going and got amnesia. For every civilized nation considered civilized on the planet right now, on the earth. They look at us, look at these people here. Every 50 years or 60 years, somebody got a no dog tag for them. I'm gonna tell you why I call it a dog tag, because you consider animal to them. When you ain't got no nationality, you ain't got nothing, you consider an animal. You can stop playing. They treat a dog better than they treat a Moors. They put you in jail. Listen to this. They put a man or take a cop job for killing a police dog. But when a Moor get killed on the street, he ain't going nowhere. A dog more valuable than a Moor today. I'm sorry. They give people 5 to 10 years for killing a dog. 10 years. You go out and kill them more, you can get probation. You're a cop, I can kill them with a badge. Because they ain't got no government. What are they worthy for? So what I'm saying is this, I'm gonna get to what I'm getting at now. Like Professor Abdul say, how did we get this way? Well, the moment that we started allowing someone in this modern time to categorize us as under race, and when the Moors accepted to be taught and learned and accept to be called in the category of under racism and not under nationality. Once again, you're not a foreigner in your land. Your mother dropped you, she dropped you in the geographical land and territory. I understand that. But what she did was she went into a political jurisdiction of an allied sovereign. And when she went there, she had no papers, she had no flag, she had no passport. These are the things required by treaty. So I got to keep it real. I'm going to keep hitting on this. Please, I have to. Because we have to hit on this because this is the highest rate of genocide and apartheid that probably ever been since we was on the earth. Meaning that we're comfortable with somebody killing us. And we gratitude. Congratulations. Hey, thank you. Thank you, my Lord. How long you say I can live? You say I can eat this, but you say what? 15 years you're gonna damage my liver? Hey, the hell I can live 15 years. Yeah, you eat this, and when it start damaging your liver, I'll treat you. What kind of people live like that? You know what they call people live like that? Even animals get better treatment than that. So I'm going to go to the board and bring up, and I'm going to ask the Moors who listen to this today, conscious Moors, unconscious Moors, and semi-conscious Moors. I'm going to ask you today to make up your mind after we give you this scenario that we have on the board, PowerPoints, and ask yourself, please, I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not here to say, hey, I follow Marcus Garvey. All I'm saying, let's deal with merit and facts. Like Noble Drew Ali say, go to them that know law. This is Noble Drew Ali was talking about, read this. When he said go to them that know law, that means if nobody's teaching, they go and buy the stuff and read it yourself. I got a thing, a man learned jurisprudence and became a lawyer at his house. He was taught, I got it. This man, one of the top-notch philosophers, was taught law in his house, not at a college. Now, for the millions and millions of so-called Negroes, Afro-Americans, colored and black, that believe the story roots, I want you to ask yourself this question. Listen to me and weigh this on the scales of my eye. Here we go. You're right. What do a people have by being placed in a category of the opinion, school of thought, decision of professors or teachers of universities, schools, or college of a foreign nation in a treaty as an ally of the Moors as the following? 1, race claims. When you claim race, you are doing this right here. Please hear me out. Spirit of me. First of all, the word black, Afro-American, Negro, and colored is defined under race claims. Y'all hear me? I want you to hear this. Now, let me clear up something so everybody can understand. You've been taught reverse thinking. You come from Africa, you a Negro, you ain't got no rights. That's a damn lie. A Moor come from out of Africa. 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 Now, they got you brainwashed and showed you a picture of roots. If you come from Africa, you're a Negro, you're black. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Africans are Moors. African got the blood pedigree of a Moor. They Moors by blood pedigree. I don't care if the continent called Africa. I'm telling you, it's a known fact that Africans are Moors. So they telling you, you come from Africa and say you ain't got no rights because you came up in slavery. Connotative language. Now we got to reverse this thing here. You just said slave. That falls under what? You bring me on a race claims. Even though slaves is Eastern Europeans. So what you're saying that I'm of the descendants of the Eastern Europe, let's stop right there. So we got to learn how to stop people when they start talking. Oh, well, we was taken out of slave by the Africans. So that means that you was an Eastern European taken out of Africa. That's what you say. Now, when you say that, prove it. That you first prove to me you Eastern European. Stop playing with me. Let's stop playing around. Let's talk real linguistics and let's talk etymology. Let's stop playing. The continent that's called Africa is named after Phoenicians. The ancient Phoenicians gave it that name. So you telling me that? See, I got to straighten this out because they'll make you think that an African, not a Moor. Okay, they'll make you think an African, not a Moor. Now let's set the record straight right now today. In Africa, them people are Moors. The only reason why they don't call themselves Moors, let me show you something. Here is some Anglo-Moroccans. Listen to the word. Anglo-Saxons Moroccans, British Moroccan, French Moroccans. This is what these people calling themselves. Listen to me. Based on a portion of blood pedigree, and after the doctrine of Prophet Muhammad, they claim to be Moorish. Go down into Africa and say this part of the Moroccan Empire, we're Kingdom of Morocco. So what you gonna do now? If a people can do that from the other side of the world, and it's not the pure blood pedigree. And you mean tell me I'm from Africa, you know, my people were slaves. Let's stop playing the game now. Let's go back to etymology. Because we know what slave is. You know, see, if you don't know what slave is, it falls under this. This is what they're doing. Race claims. You are actually claiming a race. And that's not nationality. So what you just did was this. A, you just nationalize yourself. I want you to hear this. You just nationalize yourself. What do you mean, Shem? I think the Most High for Professor Abdul Bey. Because when you start getting into something, he just don't want nothing general. These people need something more than general. It got to be defined all the way through so they can know. They go back and look at it, listen to it, hear it over again. They can get the concept, the good, true concept of it. You make it this general, then they free to embroil in a fraudulent way that doesn't mean nothing. So to bring it down to the common denominator, that's the best way. B, waiver of inheritance. Now let me explain what happens. The moment that you let somebody tell you, well, you saying our people didn't come from Africa, we wasn't slaves, we have to stop right there, deal with our people on that subject. What do a slave mean? If you tell me that a slave is of African descent, you're a liar. I'm going to explain what I mean. What Professor Abdul is saying. I'm married to a woman. She's my wife. We married 30 years. I had 5 children by her. Let's say the first 10 years of my marriage, I make all 5 of my children. You mean to tell me when my children get 20 years old or 18, that somebody come to them and say, that's not your father right there. And, that's not your father. And, you really not of this house. You this right here. What just happened? The child is protected under his mother and me, but wanting his mother. So to say that that's not her child, that's what happens when you say, when you play the race card, when you come out the race, you're not claiming your mother. Your ancient foremothers and forefathers, you're not making a claim, therefore you denationalize yourself. That's A. B, you waiver of your inheritance. The moment that somebody else can tell you who you are, who your ancient foremother was, not by what they testify to, not by their statements, not by their facts or their words. No, this is what I say they is. Just deal with this right here. Opinion and school of thought. Now he know that he been in college, and he know the main thing in running college. School of thought, philosophy, opinions, decisions, and judgments. If with the dean or professor rules and deals with his class. That's automatically usurping his authority over the students. Now, when he's able to get their undivided attention, and the moment that this is how you know he suppressed the truth. The moment when he come up with opinion or philosophy in school of thought, that's a foreign concept. Now the people mind are still tender because they want to learn, they want to get a fresh start in life. What he just does, he's not educating them now. He's indoctrinating them. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's the one of the fathers of the modern race paradigm to support what Shem is saying is Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. You have Francois Bernier, Carl Linnaeus, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, a German anthropologist, scientist, a doctor, and as being part of that race paradigm, his school of thought philosophy was used by institutions, several institutions, major institutions. So Francois Bernier, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, and Carl Linnaeus, birthright stealing, race paradigm, school of thought reigns today. About these men are in the grave. So major institutions they had influence on. They taught did lectures at various institutes, major institutions, and their literature was used as a mainstay. So this is major. And this race paradigm is used in many parts of the world. Major. This is in the United States Census Bureau. There is a race code. Nationalities are placed under race codes 01, 02, 03, 04, so forth. In the United States Census, there's a race question. And they place nationality in the same question as black, nickel colored, white, African American. How is Chinese, Japanese, is placed Hawaiian, is placed Samoan, is placed in the same category, race question? No, as a selection. What is your race? As a selection. They're black, nickel colored, white, African American, and they got, nationalities listed. Now, of course, nationals throughout the world aren't making us think about it. I talked to many co-workers about this, former co-workers, and they understand, those from the what they call South America. They understand. They say, but what can we do, Mr. I remember talking to one of my former co-workers. We were in the bathroom. This was after school. And I said, Colombia. I said, you're a Moor. And I said that race paradigm, and he agreed. He said, but what do we do? What do we do about it? I mean, because they're afraid. They don't want to be deported. They're afraid. They're not going to make no stink about it. They, come from poor areas, and they just happy to be here. And he's a teacher, and he doesn't want to make a stink about it. They, I mean, the boys ain't doing nothing about it. These boys classified as black, nickel color, they make no stink about it. I mean, why should I stick my neck out? These boys classified as black, nickel color, they make no stink about it. I'm not gonna stick my neck out about it. I'm gonna be deported. So they, because when they come through the Immigration and Citizenship Office, United States Immigration and Citizenship, they have a form and say, what country or nationality? On those forms, they don't have race on it. They don't see the word race until they go to the job. They go to the job, they see race, and they capitulate, So it is our activity and our national unity that's going to bring the end to the Francois Bernier, Carl Linnaeus, and Johann Friedrich Blumenbach modern day race paradigm, which is birthright stealing. That's a school of thought with the intent to suppress our nationality claims. So we must be mindful of that. But these three men, Carl Linnaeus, Francois Bernier, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, are huge. These are huge figures. They are ruling from the grave. These figures have molded our minds. They're ruling your mind from their grave because it's their school of thought and their deceptive philosophy. I don't want to say philosophy. It's lover of wisdom. Philos, love. Sophis or Sophia means wisdom. All right, so we still keep it at school of thought and decisions. So look them up. This is huge, and we're going to continue. Now, to be effective in addressing this modern day race paradigm, we need our national unity. Too often I've seen nationalized Moors try to take on this United States de facto United States remove, occupying power on their own. And they get burned out. They'll say, F this Moorish movement. I know they're going to get burned out. Go right on here. They don't get burned out. But I understand they're trying to do something. They're trying to do their best. And we need our national unity. We need our national unity. And what constitution? National unity. A national constitution. Being in close proximity is not unity. Having 1 million men on the Washington Mall, first of all, more classified as black their color, is definitely not unity. It's not unity. That doesn't constitute unity. Having 1 million women in the Philadelphia Parkway, that doesn't constitute unity. What constitutes unity in the laws of nation is a national constitution. If you're not talking that, There's no way in the world you're talking unity. No way in the world. Shem, walk up there while you're doing that. Walk up there while you're doing that.
Yes, I appreciate that, Novus. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. That there listen, he's giving it so real. You can't get it no real for that. I mean, the brother's right. We have too long regarded and took in the heart affection for other people that was for our demise and our destruction. But at the same time, we haven't taken to heart what is left behind for us by our ancestors as an inheritance to carry on our domination and our reign for necessities of living on the earth. I mean, we got to make a stand. That's a necessity now that we make a stand to be in survival on this earth that was given to us, Alpha and Omega. We at a place now we are regarding and taking to heart sincerity and trusting and honoring things that have no benefit, that cannot benefit us at all. Under this word right here. And you heard Professor broke it down. Race claims. So I'm going to go back to the beginning again. What do a people have by being placed in a category of the opinion, school of thought, decisions of professors or teachers of universities, schools, and colleges? This is where it starts at. Of a foreign nation in a treaty as an ally of the Moors as the following. Race claim. Who can tell me what possibly integrity as a man and a woman to stand before your offspring or descendants and honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers by claiming something that's not found in sound principles of jurisprudence and law? Not even covenants and old spiritual ordinance and codes of our seers. This concept is dead. When you go into this concept, you might well get a shovel, go out there and bury yourself, dig a grave and bury yourself, and put a straw to the earth, and don't let nobody see you, because that's what you is. You hidden. You buried in the dirt already. I'm gonna explain why. You disnationalize this nationalization under this here. So let me go back to the word. Let me go back to Africans. Anybody say that you are descending of Africa, living in Morocco, Turtle Island, which they call North America, and someone say you are a slave, stop right there. I like what Professor, just stop. Like Professor Abdul say, we can't go no further, because if I let you go further in talking like that, that means I'm gonna let you lead me in a fraud and misconcept. So let's stop right here. You're saying, first of all, you are from descendants of Eastern Europeans, Eastern Phoenicians on the eastern side of Phoenician. That's on the other side of Asia. You're saying that you are them descendants. That means you didn't come from out of Africa then. So let's start with the word slave. You're saying you're a slave. What you got to ask the person now, what is a slave? I'm asking the audience out there, what is a slave? Eastern European, Phoenician, Asia, Slavic, absolutely. But the name for it is in the ancient, not Europe, because Europe is a modern political jurisdictional name that they created in Phoenician land. That's what they did. They created a zone there. They didn't run the Moors out of Spain. They conquered the Moors in their own damn territory, domicile land. Please listen to me again. All y'all running around here, oh, the architect of Spain. We got architects all over the world. Call the world what it really is. Stop using America. You're brainwashed. All you can say is Spain. How about Phoenician? The Moors domicile land, part of the earth is Phoenician. We're responsible for all their architect there. Not just no Spain. See, that's a form of doctrination, because it got you just to say Spain. See, the author is leading you on just to say Spain. But you won't go back past Spain, because you're caught up in the new world ID, the new world, which is the cyber world of language. Listen to me good. The cyber world of connotative language is this right here, under this. Professor Abdul made it clear. We're going to put on the board, after we go through this, we're going to put on the board what is the benefits of nationality. Let me get to this now. Waiver of inheritance. Professor Abdul went into what waiver of inheritance was. When a person got a blood pedigree and they have a right to the land, the estate, they have a right to form government among themselves on their land as necessities for the survival of the people. The moment they don't claim their blood pedigree, the status, they waive their inheritance. That's your inheritance. That's your inheritance. No status, no standing. What that mean? Now, when the people start doing things, they do not look at you as have any standing. You're nobody. No standing. What you mean? They don't want you even talking in their courtroom. Shut up. Take the court. Lock them up. Damn animal, you ain't got no business saying nothing. And they right. Because you black. You black. You concealed. You hidden. From what? From all the illuminated. The Illuminati. You hid from the illuminated. That means the knowledge of standing, of status, know who you are. So you dead, because you dead. You brainwashed. You're conscious. Abdul, where I'm at? Somebody tell me where I'm at. No, Abdul gonna look at me and say, Shem, what's wrong with you? Well, I just lost my damn mind, lost my memory. You know what that means? Now, what good am I? Now, Abdul can grab me by my hand and say, come on, Shem. Come over here. Come over here, Shem. Now, I could be a rich, wealthy man. I just got amnesia. Abdul say, listen, Shem, this what you do. Write this down right here. Where the last place you was at? He go in my house, get my bank books, claim my name, and say, you know your name is Jack Frost, Jimmy Dum Dum. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you ain't got no status. Now, you just lost all your status because you lost your mind. You unconscious. See, when you got amnesia, you in a form of consciousness because you're not aware of nothing. You have no knowledge of nothing. Your foremothers, your forefathers, you don't know how to make it. You don't know nothing. So when you're not claiming a nationality, with your inheritance, you have no standing. What you mean? So when you open your mouth, what is a nigger, what is a Negro or a black man or Afro-American or colored person got to say? The Supreme Court spoke in the Dred Scott decision. Nothing that a white man, that's connotatively, but I could understand what they're saying. Nothing that a righteous, a high respected man, morality, got to respect a low life. Now we dealing with now wicked and righteous. When you hear that word white and black, I'm telling what you're dealing with. Righteous and wicked. That's fall under civil disobedience. I mean, you disobedient. What do you mean you disobedient? You ain't got no mother and father. You ain't claim no mother, father. You ain't got no land. Now, under the laws of nation, that is disobedient. When you don't claim your mother and father and their inheritance. That's a waiver right there. That's a disobedient. That makes you wicked. Now watch this. They claiming to be the white race. Well, you can race again, but they claim to be the white people. Why? We obey what our ancestors. We talk about the common law of England. We follow the Anglo-Saxon law of our ancestors. We talk about it, go back and make decisions among ourselves. They honor their ancestors. What are you doing? Oh, I'm from Africa. They say I'm a slave. Who said you were a slave? Did the treaty say you was a slave? Did your ancestors say you was a slave? Who told you you was a damn slave? A foreigner. And you trusted. I'll be back to this again. Foreigner told you that you fall right under this because they're stealing your waiver. You waiving your inheritance. You got no status, no standing. Now watch this. Now you have no protection of a country under the 59th Congress and make that clear. You have no protection under the Moroccan Treaty because you say that you from Africa, which you got protection. If you just say you from Africa, not a slave, you got protection. I wish somebody would tell me I'm from Africa and I'm not a Moor. I ain't got no protection. An African can claim protection under the Moorish Treaty, guys, in the Moorish paradigm and Moorish jurisdiction. That's why the French Moroccans, I say it again, the French Moroccans, what you mean? The French-speaking Moroccans knew what down in Africa became a state, a political body based on a treaty, and they claimed. Come on now. Keep it real. That's what they did. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna say something. Resolution 75, 1933. The state of Morocco was not even formed as a state. Please hear me, Moors. Y'all better hear this right here. The days, the bays, and the alleys. Listen what they say. They say they came to Pennsylvania. That's not a land, that's the jurisdiction. They say, oh, please, they say North Africa. Didn't they say that more? That means Moors is in North Africa. So if you're an African, you're a Moor. You got protection of the treaty. Shall they brainwash us? That's how they get us. But I can go back to 1933, before the Kingdom of Morocco was formed, that Moors came for Northwest Africa. And then this is the house. Saying they were responsible for the great architect that's in Spain, but they really mean Phoenician. But they acknowledged that they was Moors. Hear me out. You claim my ancestors came out of Africa. I'm not from here. You brainwashed. You can leave Africa and come right here into Mexico and Morocco, right here, and still have the same rights protection with you down in Northwest Africa. Because Africa extended up here. Extends up to Phoenician land. Africa went to the border. When you call South America, that one time was considered as part of Africa. Going all the way up into Atlantis. What happened to the word Atlantis? What, you know what? You don't hear the word Atlantis anymore. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because they replaced the word Atlantis with America and then told you a lie that the great Atlantis continent sunk in the sea. See, they had to kill the real old world by telling you it's sunk, but you don't get the philosophy of it. There was a great city called Atlantis where the continent split was Cabulon. That sunk. What happened to the damn continent? No, they said, see what I'm saying? The opinions and school of thoughts of the teachers is sunk. It don't exist anymore. Bullshit. You're lying. This whole started World War time. It's called Atlantis, Turtle Island. What happened to it? They killed the old world by a wrong and fraudulent concept. That's what happened. Under what he's talked about, this professor. Now, let me say something. I don't heard a lot of people talk about language. I don't heard a lot of scholars, people get on TV talking about Moorish history. And I'm going to say this and stick to this if I have to die on this. I have never seen a man talk from the divinity on a high level of epistemology, etymology, linguistics, from divinity first, coming into the body, and then how it's invoked out of the body, and how it's conceived to listening, seeing, speaking, and writing contracts, no other than Professor Abdullah Bey. Nobody. Nobody. I'm sorry. I don't have bloodshot red eyes hearing people talk stories, reading books. All they doing is stealing our history. They're rewriting our history right in front of our face, and we don't go back. How they get how you think this man got highly regard? Go back studying Moorish civilizations. Come on now. That's how he was able to write this book. Not based on what his people did, based on what his people followed, the principles and concepts of ancient civilized governments. Come on now. This man just make this up. No claim of ownership of land. This is the main part right here. Through the mother. This is why you're supposed to claim the mother. The mother is an estate. She's the earth. She's a replicant of the earth. When you come out your mother and deny the blood pedigree of your mother and the lineage of your father, you can't make no claims of ownership to land. Because the ownership to land comes through your mother. What you gonna get? Nothing. Behind this word right here. Everybody better look at this. Race claims. Now, Professor Abdul brought up something I'm gonna touch on. He's right. I have seen international forms deal with the IRS. I have even seen forms deal with the Treasury Department. They got national origin and provenance. There's nothing about race on there. But yet, when you come into the state form and the public de facto form, they go race. Because it's set there to divide public law and private law. That's the difference. When you see race coming in there, you know what you're dealing with, right? Public law. Public law means open for anybody to see because they can get you like that. Private international law is you're a prince, I'm a prince. I made a treaty with you, you made a treaty with me. I don't care if you got 50 other nations trying to do contract with me, and that treaty say that I gotta first go to you to get with all your subject states. You know what that means? That's private. That's private between me and you. That's a private contract, private treaty, which prevented me from letting them come in my country or my land to do business unless they are subject or authorized by you. Second thing, refugee status. Uh-oh, we getting somewhere now. This what happens when your mother going there without a flag, papers, and a passport. She's placed under refugee status. Now, when she placed under that, you born, this is what you become. A ward, B, an infant, C, you become a minor. You hear these words every time. D, minority, you become security, which is called surety. Professor Abdul wrote it down. Security means surety. You're surety. F, personal collateral. Now they can take you, when you're born, they can take you now and put you as their personal collateral. I mean, they can open up an account and offer you up as value. Somebody said, well, how do you do? There's more value in a man, a baby man, and a baby boy or a baby girl than it is in a goat, a calf, a fish in the sea. Somebody said, what are you talking about? They don't take care of us. We take care of them. They don't need us. A fish don't have to eat me and you. It don't need us. It don't need our flesh. It got stuff, minerals in the water. But you need to go to the water to get minerals from that fish and seaweed. You see what I'm saying, nobles? So you're going to tell me a man and a woman got divinity in them that can invent, that can harvest the earth, that can pull the minerals out of the earth, that can determine the things in the earth or the value of what they're worth, and they're precious. It's not worth nothing. That's drawing intellectual property worth everything. See, we're not looking at that. That's why you're assured in personal collateral, because you value for something. Chattel property. Man, I hate to say that word. Let me say something. And I want the Moors to hear this. I don't care if you say you black, Negro, Afro-American, colored. The same thing they're doing in the barnyards to the animals, they're doing it to you and doing it worse. The same thing that they're doing to the animals in the barnyard is the same thing they're doing to you in worship. What do you mean? They're giving the animals what they feel as though they need to eat to live for a certain amount of years so they can slaughter them at the end as guinea pigs. They're giving you what? Food that legislated by the body of government, state civics, for you to eat. You are doctrinized to trust and believe that that food is the best they can do. It's not that. Yes, it is. The water you drinking, they toxic water. Now they got ways they make you pay to clean it so you won't be toxicized. You're paying for water, you're natural. You can't fish in your water, you can't hunt. You told from the time you're born to the time how far your boundaries is, how far you can go. If you transfer and go to another state, you come into this, they're telling you everything. You're just no different than chattel property right here. When I'm going to tell you, they mean a common animal. Please hear me out. You're a common animal. Chattel property right here. Common animal. That's what you are. You become a common animal in their eyes, but in your eyes, you can think what you want to think. The fact is that's what you are. What do I mean, Shem? I wasn't born on animal, Shem. You can't say that. You're thinking. Your thinking puts your body in the harm's way of an animal. Accepting to be race claim, putting yourself in the category of an animal. Let me explain what I mean. Damn, even a lion is called a lion? Even a tiger's called a tiger. That's their national, that's what they are. They beasts. You go look them up, that's a tiger. Yeah, that's a lion. That's a hippo. I know all the species, but damn, you don't know who the hell you are. An animal, damn common animal got their own species, know they are the national, you ain't got nothing. Somebody got to tell you who you are. But an animal, that's a tiger, it's a tiger, it's a tiger. We just say it, it's a beast. But let come on and say, you know, that ain't no but a pussycat. Man, people say, you crazy, man, get out your, but they think you crazy. I'm showing you what they're doing to us. The animals deserve the right to be called what they is, but you can't reserve the right to be called for what they want you to be. We got to straighten this out. Non-existing. Now we're getting somewhere. You never got custody of your body. You never claimed to be of a country. So now you become non-existent. What you mean? Lost at sea. Where you from? Where this person from? Now, generation go by 100 years, 150 years. These people still don't have a country. Oh, we can have a field day with these people. Under the law of salvage, they go back in ancient law. How do we deal with these people? Let's see how Phoenician dealt with these people. Babylon, Syria, Israel, Moab. How do they deal with people? They go back and look in your books. They look in your science, your history. How to deal with you. You're the descendants and kinsmanship of these people. Non-existent. That means you're dead at sea. Constructive and fraudulent language concept. I love it. That's the main. This is the main principle right here that governs all that you see right here. That last one, Professor Abdullah wrote down. Because the earth, you're not living in the physical earth anymore. We living in it. But the earth that exists to these people are in language, not in the ground. Because they'll wake up from that spell that they put them under. What do you mean? I'm going to show you what I mean. Look at culture and nature. Things that's in culture and nature are still the same things. Please hear me out. They still identifying fruits, vegetables, grapes, beans, flowers by the ancient origins of what they was called anciently. They still identifying beasts, reptiles, by anciently where they come from and what part of the world. They're not even placing them under racism. But take a man and a woman with divinity and place them under a strain and tell them what you is, who you are. How dare you tell a man and woman who you are and what you is. The main thing I do, if I go in front of City Hall and say, you ain't nothing but a cracker, a dirty piece of rag. You are a leopard. You need a gun to put your ass in the cage. You know what the cops gonna do? You'll come there, knock my ass out, take me to jail. You know why they're gonna do that? Because they don't want their children hearing that. They don't want to hear it themselves. And another thing, I'll call them out of their character. What you mean? I'm calling them out of their national origin. And they're gonna arrest me for that. You know that, Professor. They're gonna lock me up. Watch this. And yet they are able to use this in applications and get away with it. You know why? Because they ain't got no Moorish government grievance in that, making them change that up. See, you could go in individually and argue with them. You might get them to give you another form. But if it's all over, how that's going to help everybody else? You got about, 10 million Moors and one person? That's why I realized somebody said, damn, Shem, you a bad boy. You done been a belly beast, and damn, man, you came out. You know how to deal with him. Man, you crazy. Man, you know what? You know, I was fortunate. Because you know and I know, we still got people that's sitting there for 30 years right now. And it all starts from a traffic stop. Please hear me out. All them felonies start from traffic stops, going requesting public information, trying to put a lien on them, trying to take them in court and threaten their bond. That you're going against the corporate veil, the social veil, the corporate trust. They're going to cut you off because you can't do that. A council or sheet got to do that. And that got to be challenged under international law. when you bring France and all the people to court, say, what standard do you got? I understand the standard we got with you, but what status do you got? Does it make a difference? Do you not? All the United States of America is British subjects or subjects of one of them crowns of Europe or the Roman states. Why? Because they was born under the dominion of them nations. If that nation was not a treaty with Morocco, they'd be what? Subjects of Morocco. Come on, I'm telling the truth. That means European will have to go by Moorish law. Y'all better see. Minister, you could erase this and put the other part in there if you want. I'm going to step to the side, let Professor Abdul. Well, okay, I'm going to talk. What I'm going to have now, Professor Abdul is going to put up there is what is the benefits for nationality? Because we got to know this. It's no time to be playing. We got to know this. This is a must. And you know, and I'm going to say something. When I see a sisters, doing stuff on the front line, like I said earlier, T, what I say mothers are different than fathers. I know what I'm talking about. Because a mother can have 4 or 5 babies by different men. Watch this. The mother still stay there and raise the baby. The father do nothing. The boy come and throw a couple of dollars. What is that? That ain't nothing according to the burden that woman got on her. And look what she do. You can talk about her and say what she want, her mishaps, but the fact of the matter is the cosmos placed it upon her to bring life into the world. The cosmos placed it upon her to have some kind of affection, accord, to still take care of them children. And this is what she have to do behind a masculine not doing his job. That's what happens. See, you got to understand, women being unconscious sometimes come from the suppression of a man. People don't want to hear that. Come from the suppression of a man. Put her into a mental condition. No, listen to me. This is serious. See, somebody said, well, how about when women cheat on men? They ain't putting you in no condition because you ain't having no babies. See, that's what you feel around y'all men out there. Oh, man, Paul, she cheat on me, do that. Get that out of left field. You having babies? Is your body being stressed out as you huffing and puffing in labor? As you carrying something around for 8, 9 months, 6 months, 7 months? After you drop it, are you going to continue on nourishing it? No, you're not. Abdullah, drop it down a little bit. So I have to speak these principles because I got a mother. And I had a father that married my mother. Now, I'm not going to say he was the best father in the world, but he provided for the children and he made sure she had what she had. The only thing I didn't like about is some of the tactics and the moves that he did as a man towards his wife. But that part about loving her, providing for the house, making sure she get the check, and making sure we had everything we got, that was no problem. But he did not have the response. That's why my mother told him one time, I never forget, when I was growing up, and he used to come in sometime angry. And this she said, wait a minute, Joseph. You worked almost 10 hours. You came right in here and changed your clothes and went out with your brother. Now you're coming back in here 12 o'clock at night. And you got off work about 5. Got dressed around 6. You went out for another 6 hours. Don't come in here telling me about these children because you're not with them all the time. You're not taking them to school. You're not making sure they do their homework. You're not making sure they're in the house. Their clothes are washed. I'm cooking for them. 5 days a week, this is what you do. But aside my father, when it was construction work, when the wintertime come, he took us fishing to the gardens. That was regular. Hunting and fishing to the garden. That was regular for us. So that's the part of life he loved. See, he looked at it as how he was raised. Work, hang out with your brothers, fish, and farm. There's no more fishing and farming, but the woman. See that responsibility. My mom was to go hunting. Not hunting, but fishing. She had a rod. She'd go do the gardens and plant, and she took care of us and made sure she cooked. So somebody said, why is it so important? Why she have to be protected? Noble Drew Ali knew this. She have to be protected. Somebody said, what are you talking about, Shem? I ain't never see a man that rely on agriculture, a piece of land for his whole inheritance as a necessity to survive and hand down. I never see a person turn around, let somebody burn his crops up or poison his land or his water. Why? Because without that, he can't survive. He's going poverty and he'll starve to death. Well, without a woman, you can't reproduce. You can't bring an image of something like you and her. You can't get that unless you get her. That's why she's so important. So it took me some time. My uncle that was Robert, he used to talk about this. He said, nah, he said, they don't know the value of a woman. He said, I didn't know till I got in my 40s. See what I'm saying? He was honest. I was in the Army, did a career. Thought I could hang out with my friends. And then just come home and give her a little money and kiss her. And, well, she got these babies. You ain't there with them babies. You understand what I'm saying? So, protecting and doing for a woman is the greatest part of nationality anyway, in culture. That's why men go to war behind a female. Two brothers will take each other out behind a female. You know I'm not lying. Behind a female. Why is this conception like that? Brother, a female could move you in a way that none else on this earth can move you. Anybody say I don't believe that, you lying. Stop lying to yourself. Because you're the same person that turn around, you probably got 2, 3 kids by 3 different women. Then I'm gonna ask you, why you trust 3 different women? I'm asking that comment. Why you trust 3 different women? So you see what it is? A lot of times you can call a woman a snake in the grass, a dirty, low down, whatever. What are you? Or she go out there because she been with 3 men. You done been with 3 women and 3 men and you done been with 100 women. She's a snake in the grass. Oh, man, I ain't sticking with her. I just made a baby. I'm backing off. That's not piety. What about you? You want to blame her now. You just want to weigh out. To show you how you know you're a liar, you'll go back looking to play with another woman. I'm keeping it real. Brother, while you get married, you transition and you getting what came from down before you. That's how it's supposed to be. When you're wrong about your ways of living in life, or your ways towards a woman, admit it when you was wrong. Admit it. It ain't the woman all the time. Okay, thank you, Professor Abdul. Now we're dealing with, please, Morris, hear me out. I'm going to say this before I get into this. Okay, we go. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right here. If you are indigenous, man or woman, living here with melanin, please hear me out. I'm pleading with you to ask you this question. What are you getting out of being called a slave, African descent, slaves, connotatively, constructed language, fraudulent language, under race? Ask yourself a question. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask this question. We got 2 people sitting here today. I'm going to ask that right now because that's what it's all about. Give them a mic. I'm going to ask the sister a question. She's here. No, sister, listen, let me say something. Don't never feel shame about expressing yourself. That's what we're here for. All of us we were all conscious like this, like we are now. Over a period of time, the cosmos showed us mercies and let us become conscious so we can break the chains. Now, I'm going to ask you, what would you rather be categorized under, nationality or race? Yes, the brother there. Say your name, brother.
Robert.
Yes.
Nationality, of course.
Yes. Tamara, before I get in this, is there any questions online? None? No questions or nothing online, Tamara? Or you ask them, I want to hear what they got to say. Any other subscribers out there, I want to hear each of y'all, please say, we should have thousands and thousands of people say that. What do you think you benefit the best off of, nationality or race? I'll wait about 5 minutes. And I'm going to keep going. Nothing? All right. Okay, Tamara said the nationality. Thank you, Tamara. I mean, it's the flow of nationality. See, me and Professor Abdul is not trying to embarrass anybody. What we're trying to do is get the people out of the thinking condition that they're in and stop waiving their inherent right. Now, I'm going to explain with nationality. What are the benefits of Moorish descent in making a claim for possession of land and inheritance by consequently under the following? Nationality claim rights. Now, what is nationality claim right? I claim to be of the ancient people of this land in this geographical territory under the longitude, latitude of the earth. That's called a nationality claim right. The reason why they don't want you making this, they can't use you anymore. They can't take you away. They can't steal your inheritance. That's why Abdul writes called birthright stealing. That's the proper word for it. That means you can't survey the land, the geographical land and domicile and territory that your ancestors claimed or was conveyed by the cosmos. Let me explain something about conveyance so we can understand what's going on. There are some conveyance that comes from what they call a high priest, a prophet, or seer. He will be in touch with the cosmos, the spirit of the cosmos. They will reveal to him, let me say it right. She will reveal to him, because remember, you got a feminine part of this. Because even the scriptures talk about she, even dealing with the heavens. So when it talks about the heavens and earth, I know that the prophets use the feminine form, she. So there's nothing wrong with that. So anybody talk about, oh, he ain't talking about no men. No, I'm going by old scripture, Bible, in history. They talk about she. This is a known principle in the Bible. Anybody read it? Even when the masculine speaks, it's given what? Over to the feminine, because it's working like intercourse. That means some commune is going on, something going on. Nationality claim they can't steal your birthright. Can't tell you what to do because you in your land. Even under nationality claims in a foreign country that's in treaty with a prince or king or government body, head government body of your nation, government country, if they in a treaty and the council becomes the judge and a dispute happen or civil litigation happen, if the treaty say that the man or woman based on their nationality as an alien have a right to be heard and judged by his council based on what? Their laws, their customs. See, we get that now? This is supposed to be going on. Now, we're dealing with a lowly entitled rights. What is the lowly entitled rights? I'm going to get back to the seer and the priest. Let's say Professor Abdul is a high priest, a seer. Let me explain what that means. That's just not something a man delegate to him. Professor Abdul meditates, goes into the spirit, into the cosmos, and travel. Therefore, he becomes what you call the Dayuti. He be revealed to him by the angelic beings and elves, the cosmic record. He comes back, and Abdul say that the Lord of the cosmos has told me for us to get up as a people and go over to this land right here, because this land he gave to us because the people are worshiping idols. I'm going to spend with Professor Abdul went into this. Here's an elephant with cellularity. You take an elephant, make an image of it, or make an image of a kofa bird, which that is a symbolic thing, and you worshiping it. The cosmos told him to get the people up and go over there and get rid of them and move them out the land and take the land over. That's called a celestial conveyance. That's a real loading title right there. That's a real loading title because it was conveyed, and Noble Drew Ali talked about that, about title being conveyed to a nation. Now, another conveys this right here. Just by blood pedigree, my people settle here, and this part of earth that never had nobody never been before, they settle here, they plant their customs. That's the beginning, Alpha, and now we're at the middle, we're still ours. Now, the only way a person can lose land. They never lose the loading title because that's in your blood, because you come from the earth. That's your own. The only way they lose this title is they come and be occupied by foreign power and conquered. They don't lose it. It's just under occupation. This is why a lot of governments, when they occupy land, they would never take away the sovereign power of the land. They allow the king to remain as long as the king stay in allegiance to what? The emperor. Now, once the king agrees to be in allegiance to the emperor, that means the king and all his people become the subject of that foreign power, that foreign emperor. And Abdul know what I'm talking about. Under occupation, not land rights, occupation. Because you agree now to give up your allegiance because you've been beat. You surrender. So to keep your necessities of eating, to keep control over the clans, you would give up your rights of sovereignty, certain sovereign rights, and become a subject under the emperor, but still the emperor leave you in responsibility to do what? Manage and judge your own people. Protection of your country. 59 Congress again. He that disavowed himself of his country rights, he that don't turn off the protection of country. How do you do that? I'm black, I'm Afro-American, I'm a Negro, or by now they're forcing the treaty, going into the courtroom, asking a de facto democracy government to perform something that if I go back into the legislator act that created that government body, that created that court, and I go get their body saying, here go Delaware Assembly, creating the Delaware courts system. In that Delaware court system, it does not say anything about treaty. Why are you going into the courts doing that then? See this? This is not written. This their own charter. There's nothing even in their charter saying you're supposed to be in there doing that. You know you're in violation now. See, let's stop playing games. Let's go to the contract. All y'all Moors talking, let's go to the contract. Y'all say that the United States courts, I'm asking you to read to me in a treaty that a Moor, in any Moorish treaty, goes to before the judge. Give me a sample. Go back anciently and show me Moors that went into the United States Supreme Court to force a treaty without a counsel. I can point to two examples that I know: the Moorish Sundry Act, Resolution 75 here in Pennsylvania. That's what I'm saying. Now, see, there you go. Thank you. See, listen, this is very, very, very important. If you got conscious Moors.
Testing. They didn't go to court, so they didn't hear me. They didn't go to court, though.
Right, absolutely. So what Professor Abdul is saying, we got to stop playing, and we got to stop just taking for granted that people care about us, and they're going to look out for us. Like today, he had a conversation with his sister, and she brought in blood pedigree. Blood test. That falls under religious. Yes, it does. Because you talk about blood, you talk about pedigree. If you talk about pedigree, you talk about what part of the earth that's dealing with the land culture. Then that's dealing with religion. Because you're dealing with a longitude now. You're saying the blood come from the earth. Then you're saying I have to, in order to know what part of the earth I'm from, in the country part, I'm gonna get a blood test. That's dealing with religion. And it said no religious test will be given. So why are you taking a blood test? See, you're not examining these principles on religion. You're not examining them. I'm keeping it real. And that's why we're in the trouble we at. Because all these bad concepts people throwing in front of us. I'm glad one thing I like about Tamara. You ain't gonna just tell her nothing. Man, that sister gonna challenge your ass. She gonna jump on you like a tiger. And she gonna do it in a professional way. Because she gonna sit there and listen to you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here you go with the constructive language. Like Abdul said, the Moors, you go to more teaching more constructive information. You go to more taking away our birthright. Talking, there's more talking. He's just nationalizing us. He's stripping us of our birthright. The more, because he's running his mouth and he won't be corrected. Slow down and be quiet and let somebody tell you you're wrong and accept being wrong. I just said, show me a Moorish court case where a Moor went inside the United States and enforced the treaty. A Moorish treaty, it doesn't say that. It said council or grand sheik. Keeping it real. Peace.
Islam. All right, all right. Yeah, this is I trust this is as illuminating to you. All right. We're being illuminated tonight. So we have here the laws of nations. Again, chapter 6. This is book 2. Nations in relationship to other states. Chapter 6 of the concern a nation may have in the actions of her citizens. We have seen in the preceding chapters what are the common duties of nations towards each other, how they ought mutually to respect each other and to abstain from all injury and all offenses, and how justice and equality, or how justice and equity ought to reign between them in the whole conduct. But here, thereto, we have only considered the actions of the body of the nation, of the state, of the sovereign, private person who are members of one nation may offend and ill treat the citizens of another and may injure a foreign sovereign. It remains for us to examine what a share a state may have in actions of her citizens and what are the rights and obligations of the sovereign in this respect. Whoever offends the state, injures its rights, disturbs its tranquility or her tranquility, or does it a prejudice in any manner whatsoever, declares himself its enemy, and exposes himself to be justly punished for it. Whoever uses a citizen ill indirectly defends the state, which is bound to protect this citizen, and the sovereign of the latter shall avenge his wrongs, punish the aggressor, and, if possible, oblige him to make full reparation, since otherwise the citizen would not obtain the great end of the civil association which in safety. All right, so this principle. If they injured one, they injure all. What is that based in? If they injured Terrence, they injure all. What is that based in? How is it that the United States foreign power can injure Terrence, and I say they injured all of us? What is that based in? All right. Let's go back to the principle of a national constitution. A national constitution, all right, is the social trust of an entire nation of people. So that's social trust. So there, you enter into an alliance or treaty with a nation. So the principle of their injuring Terrence, they injure all. This is the importance of a body of civic. This is the importance of national unity. They say, how are the French nationals in Haiti, French nationals in Japan, French nationals in Ireland, French nationals in Jamaica, French nationals in England, French nationals in Nigeria, French nationals in Germany, French nationals in China? What unites these French nationals is the French Constitution. And that French Constitution, from there, they're able to form through treaty negotiations with China and Nigeria and Jamaica and England and Germany and Nigeria, Netherlands, all right, to negotiate treaties to protect her nationals wherever they are on the planet. So this is an ancient principle. We have to get back to this. Once again, is the Moorish nation recognized? Yes, she is. The problem is we don't recognize her. We must recognize her. Recognizing her doesn't mean I got my Moorish nationality paperwork. Where's your body of civics? Which, as I said before, the nationalization process for the Moors does not make us a Moor. So what does it mean? Allegiance. Agreeing to come under a body civics. If you're not talking about, you're not talking nationalization, because that doesn't make you a Moor. There's no process on this planet, no paper that makes you a Moor. That's your blood pedigree, that consanguinity. So the issue for us is political allegiance. A body of civics, a national constitution, or social trust. That's the issue. We have to get this concept of nationalization. It's not there among us. It's not. The concept of nationalization for the Moors is not there. They think that paperwork is it. Well, the paperwork will reflect that you have an allegiance to that body civics. Paperwork, and then you go along your way. That's not nationalization. That's show me that in the laws of nations. It's not nationalization. There's allegiance to a body politic. That's the biggest part of nationalization for the Moors, because it doesn't make you a Moor. On that, I yield. All right, Shem. You can do that while you're walking.
Yes, Tamara, I take some questions, if it's some questions.
Give information about the grand opening.
Well, you do that, because
All right,
you
so I'll
do
do
that,
that
and I do it. That's good. Good, that's good, Tamara, you're right.
All
Let them
right,
know.
yes, everyone. All
That's
right,
good.
so
we
have
never thought about this.
5 months, I think heading into 6 months now, right? Yes, you've seen pictures, over 500 photos been posted, about 40 videos about the progress over a period of 6 months. And so we're going to have a celebration on November. We, the United Republic of Morocco, will be celebrating we, all right, on November 7th, from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. We will be celebrating her, the United Republic of Morocco, coming out. All right, party. All right, the United Republic of Morocco is a body politic that is facilitating the national unity of a central governing body. It is the umbrella body of civics that will have reached out to several body politics. As I said before, that it's important that we facilitate national unity and that we, the United Republic of Morocco, is facilitating that national unity. For 27 years, I've seen individual body politics come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. We need a central governing body to represent all, ALL, hear me out, nationalized Moors, hear me out. All, ALL, our people in the international arena. When I say all our people, I don't just mean nationalized and conscious Moors. I have to articulate that because nationalized, there are, for 27 years, I've heard nationalized and conscious Moors say, I have not seen a Moor in 20 days. You haven't seen your wife or girlfriend, your children, mother, father, grandparents, nephews, nieces, cousins. You have co-workers you work with that, all right? I know what they mean. The problem is, it's the problem. That's the problem. That they're not relating. And our problem is that we are myopic in our thinking. We stay only in our comfort zone of nationalized and conscious Moors. We don't go outside the realm of nationalized and conscious Moors. We don't reach out to the community. We stay within our 2 or 3 or 4, 7 or 8 nationalized and conscious Moors. So we, the United Republic of Morocco, will be facilitating, through the through the Moroccan Post, we look into a printed newspaper put out in early spring, a printed newspaper with over 100,000 copies and more, over 100,000 copies, that we will send to the various body politics and have a manual of community outreach. We're going to help facilitate, not just encourage, but teach and facilitate massive community outreach. We'll have a website that'll be posted soon. All right. So once again, we have the open house November 7th from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. It'll be here at the embassy, and within the embassy there will be a consulate. So they will be served as an embassy and consulate. We will be facilitating nationalization, and we will help the other body politics. We'll be meeting with the various Moorish body politics in classes and meetings to facilitate the collective consciousness, the one mind, to make sure that we're all on the same page. And I said to Shem that the instrument doesn't have the power unless the minds of the body politics reflect the written instrument. So we have to facilitate that process. The caucus members of the United Republic of Morocco have been meeting to review certain documents so as we prepare the facilitation of the various Moorish body politics to form a central governing body in a political structure to represent our people in the international community. We need national unity. All right? Any other questions? All right. I love the question. I love the question. I love the statement. That's a statement. I love it. Thank you for that because I love it. Noble Drew Ali set that up already. Don't reinvent the wheel. All right. Our people are being injured. We're being injured, shot in the streets, killed, drugs in our communities, Compton, Watts, Houston, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Newark, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, Columbus, Ohio, Atlanta, keep naming them. We're suffering. And this is what I'm saying. They're killing us. They're killing us. They're killing us. We'll reach out to the grand sheiks and grand governors of the Moorish science temples. It's about making political and economic visible, effective change for our people. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. I've been involved for 27 years almost. We are filled up in the foreign jails. High rate of illiteracy. High blood pressure. Cancer rates. Drugs in our community. Police brutality. Whoever said that, join me. Join us to stop that. Stop the police brutalities in our community. These foreign powers putting our people in jails. Stop the drugs in our community. Stop that. I'm not going back and forth. I want to stop that. This Drew Ali did this already, and that's not reinvent the wheel. We never said we were. I just want to stop the cops from killing us. I just want to stop them from putting us in their foreign jails. I just want to stop them from putting drugs in our community. Help us stop that. Please help us stop that. Talk to me.
Professor Abdul, I think we need to just say plainly what you're saying, and this is how they have to hear it. Although Noble Drew Ali established the Moorish science temples, Noble Drew Ali did not establish the proper civics government. He did not repossess the government. He did not create the government structure. He created what we would call a form, a schoolmaster. But it'd be unfair for someone to say that Noble Drew Ali repossessed the Moorish government and started elections and stuff. That's not fair to say. That's not. No, he never did. He never started government back up again. We never even got off the step. Because if we did, we wouldn't be in the shape we're in now. So to say Noble Drew Ali reinvent the wheel, you're saying Noble Drew Ali brought back the ancient.
No, they say that we should not reinvent the wheel.
Right, and that's just like saying
Yes. Go up front, please.
Yes. What I'm saying is that we go briefly, Professor Abdul, is to make it a presumption that Noble Drew Ali when you say invent the wheel, I'm only going
No,
by
no.
invent the wheel, right?
That we don't need, we, the United Republic of Morocco, do not need to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
Reinvent the wheel.
Right,
Because
but-
Noah Ali did it. That's
No,
what that, yes.
no,
It's
no,
talking
what you
about us
Ali
not reinventing.
haven't done what we're trying to do here at United Republic of Morocco, because Noble Drew Ali did not call the people for elections. Noble Drew Ali did not call to have a Imperial Parliament Council. Noble Drew Ali didn't call to have a Wazir, a Caliph, a Sharif. Noble Drew, I'm speaking facts. If you say he did, then show me where that's written at. And another thing, I know a lot of Moors got a habit of throwing hearsay. He said, Noble Drew Ali said this. You know, in ancient time, we was taught by ancestors, out of mouth, 2 or 3 witnesses, every word should be established. And once that is written down as a record, that get handed down as an inheritance to the people. Now, what you're going to hand down to us, saying that the United Republic of Morocco is doing something different what Noble Drew Ali was doing. Once again, I'm going to say, we talk about having a central body. We're talking about calling for all the Moors in all parts of the earth to create a political Moorish government, have elections, create your parliament, have your government body, executive, legislature, and judiciary and administrative. That's what we're calling for. We're calling all Moorish governments to be under one constitution, an international body, and have their own, and all their rights are reserved in their own constitutions. We're calling for what our ancestors said or what they written down for us to follow. Now, believe me, I'm a lover of Noble Drew Ali, but I'm not going to let you lie on Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali was invited to the Pan Am Union. What he did was he spoke the truth. He invoked the truth that the people that you call you in race, mislabel, miscategory, they are not them people. They are the ancient people with these blood pedigrees. Now, Noble Drew Ali did that. Noble Drew Ali did not put no paperwork on the ambassador desk. Noble Drew Ali didn't deposit any constitutional instrument before all the world nations claiming who he was. Although he went there, he never deposited anything. He never came back and said, hey, Grand Sheiks, I'm going to create a government of the people that the government going to elect you according to the treaties. According to the old Moorish government, you got to be elected, appointed. He never did that. He disappointed you. So that means he took on that stuff as being what? The Dey and the governor. But he never established the government. So for you to say don't reinvent the wheel, you got to say, you got to go back and show me what we're doing now, that y'all more science temple, that Noble Drew Ali did that and handed to you. If you say that, I got you, because that's a lie. Because you've been a statue standing there for the last almost decade, and look, we are worse shape than we was back then.
No, not decade, 100 years.
I mean,
Century,
century, that's right. For the last century, thank you, Professor. For the last century, y'all been a statue. You ever see a statue that was sitting there for 100 years or 200 years? Y'all been a statue for the people to look to based on what Noble Drew Ali set up, and you have not protected the people. You have not been sitting up there at the Hague or the Organization of American States. You don't have any ambassadors that we can go to protect ourselves. You don't have anything that's a structured government have. Excuse me, but although you was the face. I love you, Grand Sheiks. If you're going to be the Grand Sheiks, do it in the format of positive law, jurisprudence. Go back to the treaty and see how you get elected and who appoints you, a government. Now, we can stop playing. We don't have to argue. Just swallow your pride. Just humble yourself and come and to sign a treaty. Let's do this. We need each other. We need each other badly.
Let me say this. Shem and I, we've talked. We will never attack verbally nor physically grand governors, grand sheiks, grand sheiks, sheiks, and sheikses of the Moorish Science Temple. We will defend our people. We will continue to build political structure and facilitate the national unity, we reach out to you, grand governors, grand governors, grand sheiks, grand sheikas, sheiks and sheikas of the Moorish Science Temple. We reach out to you. Let's unite. Let's stop the police killings. Let's stop the genocide, apartheid of our people. Let's not, we talk what Talib did, but let's take that and facilitate the end of the genocide and apartheid of our people. Will you help us do that? Will you help us do that? I reach out to you for you to help us do that. We'll continue to reach out to you. They can criticize whatever they say about us, and we'll respond in love. We will not get caught up in any divisive actions and allow the Europeans to use that. We come in love. We're going to stand for our people, and we're going to facilitate the massive unity and free elections of our people. That I yield. All right, so once again, we have the grand opening November 7th. All right.
Before we go, I want to say one thing. Remember, the United Arab Republic, this building here, operating as an embassy, and also in this building also will be a council office. We'll be operating as an embassy in this foreign jurisdiction building that we're in, and we also will have the council office here in the post office suite. And what we will be doing for all the Moorish body civics that internationally with foreign nations, we're going to have and make sure the paperwork goes to protect any Moorish government and their population. We're going to make sure that no one hinder our religious and spiritual rituals, customs, festivals, and ceremonies. We're going to make sure that we're able to practice on either our constitution or our covenant under our spiritual codes and ordinance. We're going to make sure that we secure that. That's what we're here for, because there's going to come a time that they're going to jump up and going to want to oppress us. And I'm being for real. For the last decade, when they was doing this, there was nobody under any government structure in the name of Drew Ali helping anybody out from going to jail, being killed, served poison food, shot down the street, and put under having their children taken away. So when somebody make it come out, we don't convert the will, then why are we in the shape we in now? The will never was made. There was never no will moving anyway. So I don't have to play that game.
Once again.
I love it. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're sacrificing ourselves. Make sure that if we do this, when they come to get you, we're going to step in and stop them. But they tell you can't talk or you can't operate unless you come under our charter, we're going to step up and defend you. That's the United Arab Republic of Morocco going to do.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salah.